What's going on, Masterminds? Welcome back to Mastar Media. Today we have another animation podcast, today featuring Retro Ryno, who is most known for his Bleach animations. He did the Bleach opening for the final season. That was the final season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was incredible. He has well, let's talk let's first welcome Retro Ryno. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me.
Retro is unbelievably talented, and he has some Bleach animations on his channel, but I've seen some of the other work that he's done. He's not like limited to simply just like Bleach style. He's got it all. I mean, his art is phenomenal. He's worked on actual for professional studios. He actually like has a lot more knowledge of what happens inside an animation studio than a lot of us do, because most of us are just aspiring animators, and Retro is in his early 20s, or you're 20 years old, right?
I am 20.
And you're already doing it, man. You're already like living the animator life. So it's going to be great to pick your brain and talk to you, learn, how you've progressed. Let's first start by asking you, do you just sit down and animate like all day, or do you have like other side hobbies? Because like I know I know a lot of other animators too, like Fee and stuff. Like we can just sit and animate all freaking day.
I used to be a lot better at it, especially back then. I was right now, I almost feel bad right now. I feel like I could be working a lot harder. But back when I was in high school, I used to do this contest called Skills Canada. And on my first year of animating, my teacher / mentor, he was just like, "Hey Ryan," he's like, I'm really liking what you're doing with this. I'm gonna enter you in this contest. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was really nervous. But the thing is, I am stupidly competitive. Like, I am so stubborn when it comes to that. It was completely what I need. And I think that I wouldn't have improved so fast, or even, kept up a rate where I would have kept animating if I hadn't yet pushed into Skills Canada. And so for the first year, I was practicing quite a bit, and I actually lost, and that pissed me off. And so I was like, okay, I'm not losing the second year.
Next year, I'll get you.
I will have my victory.
Damn, that was a scary voice, bro. You ever consider voice acting?
That was one of the other things, but I'm already an animator. Getting paid as a voice actor is probably one of the only things harder.
Dude, voice acting is hard. I have so much respect for voice actors. Like, I think it's kind of like animation in the sense that, like, if you don't do it, or you haven't really tried to do it, you just think it like, oh, it's easy, I could do it. And then it's like, once you try, you're just like, holy crap, there's like a whole science behind everything, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't want to touch it. I used to want to voice act, and the more I learned about it, and the more I learned how skilled voice actors are, I was it's a craft. I mean, it's a craft you could spend your whole life mastering, just like animation.
And it's not just talking and acting. Like, you have to know so many audio things, and they know how to perfectly place themselves like a good distance from the mic. They know how to set it up, doing the mixers. They clean the audio after. Like, ever since running the project, I learned so much stuff about it. Like, at the beginning, we just kind of accepted anyone who didn't sound like a child. And now it's at a point where it's like, all right, now I know, the difference. We need people with XLR mics. Their acting ability has to be at a certain degree. And I have done a few voices for the series myself. And I was like, in my video, which is, personally, it's my favorite video, Byakuya versus As Not, which I definitely put my all into. I ended up being Byakuya for it, and there's so many times where like I used to voice some of the characters in my stuff, and then we just looked desperately for someone to replace me because I didn't want to do it, and I listened to it, I'm like, cringy. But the Byakuya turned out well. I used to voice so many people just because it was so hard finding voice actors. Like I'm Chad. I was BG9. I was Miyuri at one point. I was Watch almost at one point. I was Yamamoto at one point. Like, I'm so glad we found people to replace me, because that would have ruined it, because good voice acting can make or break something easily.
Yeah, no, it totally can, and especially like in our community, dude. For like at least the Dragon Ball community, it's so rare that you'll find somebody that like you won't see. Like you typically in the comments, it's always like, "Oh my god, the voice acting's so cringe." Like you see that everywhere.
Yeah,
it's very very hard to find like good like dub voice actors. Prince Vegeta did a really good job on the AF
especially
video.
with yelling. It's hard for English people to do it, like non-professional, even with the professional actors, you know. People are super judgmental,
dude. You remember like Dragon Ball Z, all the yelling, it sounded like they're constipated and stuff, you know. That was one of the things, like, because I grew up on DBZ sub. And I remember like listening to it in dub, and I was just like, "What is this? They ruined the screaming. Like it's the best part about the whole show, you know." It's like, dude, just do one long scream. It sounds like you're trying to squeeze out a turd.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, it's not easy, and also, man, it puts so much damage like on your throat. I mean, after like a few takes, it's like my throat is already done, and these people are doing this stuff for hours, man. I don't know how they do it, but. So let's talk about what's your next project? Like you're doing another Bleach fan animation coming up. Like, what can you talk to us about your next major animation?
Currently, what I've gotten planned is I'm trying to get my Bleach series episode 1 out as soon as possible. It's been a long road on that, and I think I did a video even explaining about it. Annoyingly, though, not everyone on my channel. A lot of people on my channel don't know that I did it, even though I tried to really point out. I ended up redoing my episode because I improved and I got a lot better and I figured out how to do things properly. And I pretty much trashed the entire first episode completely and restarted just because I'm like, all right, it does not look anywhere near what I can do. I would not be proud to put this out. And so I kind of, you know, I buckled down, and people in my community have told me, you know, we want quality. And so I was like, all right, then let's test that. Let's see if you guys can be a little bit more patient, and I'll definitely make it worth the while. But episode 1 is coming. This month there's actually my Bleach ending coming out. Because we made an opening and we made an ending quite a while ago, and we've been holding on to it, trying to, you know, we wanted to space out the uploads to soften it because there are large waiting periods in between the videos, which I feel kind of crappy about. But I mean, what can you do?
Well, I mean, why, if you already had it done, why have you been holding on to it?
Well, we had the Byakuya video that we put out. We pretty much we have it spaced out so that people see it and then they're like, hey, we're talking about it, you know, this is great. And then like a little while after episode 1 comes out, so it kind of like it sets up the like it gets people like stirring. It stirs the pot, so the episode 1 does even better.
I see what you're saying. So you're holding the ending to like right before, or maybe like a month before you release the first episode,
right?
To build hype. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And the ending does come out this month. That has been confirmed.
In this Bleach series you're doing, this is this the final arc that was never animated, or this is like your own side series?
No, this is the final arc that was never animated. Pretty much it has really changed from what I intended from the beginning of the project. It was originally called the Bleach Alt series, and there was going to be a lot of like plot changes and stuff because back when Bleach ended, a lot of the fans were like, what the heck is this garbage, blah 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 blah. Everyone's angry because, you know, I love Bleach, but, you know, say as you will, it had quite a few problems writing wise, to be blunt about it. But
oh, can
I have eased up on it. Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question, because I probably should have started off with this. Okay, so when I had Ichigo go into his final Bankai in Anime War, everybody's like, he's already in Bankai, he can't go Bankai again. But he does it in the final chapter, in the final fight, right?
He was in Shikai.
Oh, so he can go Bankai, then Shikai, and then Bankai again?
No. Pretty much in the final fight in the final arc, he's in Shikai mode, but then he goes into
for like a second.
He's in Vastolord mode, which he can pull out without Shikais or Bankais. He can go into Vastolord mode. So pretty much he was just in Devil mode, and then he Bankai'd on top of that. So then he was Vastolord Bankai, which we literally never saw what the Bankai was. And so that kind of made everyone really angry, and that was probably one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen.
Well, he got this like massive power up, and then the dude just like snaps his sword in half, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you don't even see what his power was, even by the end of the series.
So I guess I did mess it up in Anime War then.
Just a little bit.
I kind of like misunderstood. Like I was like, what the hell's going on? Because I haven't watched Bleach from start to finish. I've seen like a lot of the fights, but as for a lot of anime for me, like I just don't have time to like go through 800 episodes of One Piece and like all this stuff. And
God,
I mean,
so many.
You could sit and just binge anime for like years and not even like graze the surface. But I mean, for a lot of the mainstream anime that I haven't seen all the way through, I like to watch like the major fights and get inspiration from it and stuff. So I guess that was my mistake, but I mean, people are gonna love to see that go down in your. So how long is your first episode gonna be?
Currently people have asked, and they're like, are you gonna do full episodes, or are you gonna do like a little bit shorter? I think that I'm going to do it a little bit shorter. I think the videos might be around like 12 to 15 minutes, but the other thing is we've set up and we spent a lot of time setting up for the rest of the episodes and the rest of the production, and a lot of the time that was spent was gathering staff, getting voice actors, getting our storyboards done together. I honestly think that with the smaller format, I could get the second episode done if all the voice actors. That's one of the bigger things, because I'm not really in control when it comes to voice actors. It's you're kind of just hostage to whatever you can find or whatever one's schedule is. But I could do the second episode in like a couple months easily after this one, because it's just been such a mess. Because the first episode, we try to still salvage things, but we're also trying to just get it out, and we changed up our system so many times to it during it. But for episode 2, we're going to use the same system, so I think they'll be around like 14-15 minutes, and then
my honest opinion, dude, is like go for 10 minutes if minimum. Like I would say like 10 to 12 minutes is the mark you want to hit. Like hitting 10 minutes is so critical for YouTube's algorithm. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, and this is the same problem I encounter with Anime War, is that like I can't just end it at 10 minutes. It's like I have to end it at a cliffhanger, and that sometimes takes a few extra minutes to build up. And a minute of animation can take you weeks to do, So
we have it planned out. Ours ends on like it does end on a cliffhanger. Like we found a good spot for it. In fact, with that little teaser, you've seen the
I've seen all of it. Yeah, I saw your teaser.
You saw the Bleach episode teaser. Yeah. That end part where he's just like, "We are here to declare war," and like that's gonna be roughly about how it ends for the episode 1. Or maybe there'll be another scene after it. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
See, you guys got to go subscribe to Retro and be on the lookout for.
That would be nice. Yeah. That's the other thing is also, and I'm sure you can relate to it. And one thing that must be like somewhat nice about Anime War is, as an artist, doing only Bleach can sometimes get a little stale, or you go, I want to draw other things, and for Anime War, you're like, all right, well, we're getting a whole bunch of people in here. We're getting Naruto, we're getting One Piece, Fairy Tail, Bleach, and of course, Dragon Ball.
Dude, I struggle with Naruto so much. Like, I can't get him to look right when I draw my man. There's something about it's like his age.
There's somewhat simple. Like I used to try to draw Naruto. For me, it goes like Bleach is easiest only due to insane amount of practice. Then it's Naruto. Then it's Fairy Tail. Then it's One Piece. Then it's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is like, oh my god, especially if you're gonna do all the shading. Like I don't know.
But see, that's how I learn, man. I've been drawing Dragon Ball for 20 years, so like I mean, I'm not like perfect at it, but it's the easiest style for me, you know. One Punch Man, I mean, at least like Saitama, he's pretty easy to draw. I mean, he's so basic, yeah. The oval head and everything.
And his suit looks like a janitor with a cape. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm really struggling because I've studied the art behind Dragon Ball so much through the years that trying to go to like the regular anime style
it messes you up.
It messes you up. Yeah, I'm getting better though. I like with Demon Rush. Yeah. I've been really practicing my own style, which I'm getting closer and closer to like what I'm happy with. You know, the facial, like the jaw structure and the eyes and everything, and just like something that feels comfortable for me to draw, that I feel like looks appealing. And I'm getting there, but it has been a hell of a challenge to break out of Dragon Ball, man. I mean, I think it's that way for a lot of people. It's like people who are really good at drawing Dragon Ball, I think they have a tough time breaking apart from it. And people who are good at drawing like any other anime, like have a tough time drawing Dragon Ball, because it's
out there.
It's because of all the polygons and the shapes, involved in Dragon Ball. It's like all like these these hard like shapes, hard angles and stuff. Yeah, and I think
and then the rest of anime is soft and round.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like it's so completely different.
Well, Bleach was, especially earlier on, it used to be that way, if you've ever, because have you at least seen anything from like the Soul Society arc back when Bleach was popular? Like it was very like grungy. Everyone's heads were like triangles.
yeah, I've seen that.
And back then, like it was stuff like that, and I definitely have drawn Dragon Ball. And one of my first things that I did when I became an animator on YouTube is I helped out with some Dragon Ball fan animations that I didn't stay with them very long, but I definitely got a little bit of a hand. I used to constantly animate I feel bad because everyone's gonna get mad at me. The giant dragon, Shen or Shing, the big green dragon. Once you gather all the Dragon Balls,
Shenron,
right?
Sorry, I was muted. I was like Shenron. I was like, why isn't he saying anything? I was like, oh shit,
go.
I muted myself. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Shenron is hard to draw. I don't know how they animate his body. That's one thing I've always wondered, how they make like the loop of his like body like flowing, in the wind, like when it's a close up of him. That there's something these Japanese animators do, man. It's just like really mind blowing. I mean, I'll rotoscope it and I still can't figure out like how the hell they did some of these scenes. And it's like these people are just like coming up with this stuff like out of their head, especially with like the loops that they create with wind and certain things like that. There's this one scene I'll put on the screen right now of when Piccolo does his light zone grenade against Cell, and it's like it creates this like cylinder vacuum of like wind as he's like shooting it out at this angle. It's just like, how can someone design this? I'm not sure who the animator was for that, but they're a genius. That's all I gotta say.
And you know what? One of the more impressive things about it is as everyone knows, Dragon Ball is like an entrepreneur for anime.
Yeah.
So like when these people were doing this, there wasn't like 100 people before them that they can be influenced off or inspired. Like they helped carve the path, right? They came up with this stuff. They didn't copy people as much as where. Now I'm not saying that like the people today not as good, they're all copycats, but it is a lot more, it's a lot easier because a lot of styles are set, a lot of things are already done, there's techniques, there's methods that everyone, they're like, well, you see this thing in Dragon Ball, they did that, so you could do something like it. Like they have it easier. I will say.
Yeah, you definitely like battle anime pull a lot of inspiration from Dragon Ball. And I mean, certain things that Dragon Ball did with all the various like the camera angles, the impacts, it's not just like about powering up. It's so many like different elements of like how the animators had so much freedom. And really what I think it was more than anything was just dynamic. It like if you really like pay close attention to Dragon Ball, it's like, and look at how the animation during the fight scenes is like constantly changing from perspectives, proportions. Like it's so dynamic that it really just, it's like almost subliminal. Like if you don't understand how animation goes on, it's part of the reason that it's so exciting to watch, is because of that like constant changing perspective of angles and art. That just draws the viewer in, and I think that a lot of other anime, you know, pulled that in as well. Like for example, like, you know, Hajime no Ippo, like they do a lot of unique things as well. Their animation is phenomenal, but like they like are pretty, and I think a lot of other anime fall from the same cloth, that they get kind of repetitive with certain angles and things like that. Whereas with like, so Hajime no Ippo, like they always do this like focus on the foot, you know, the footwork or the foot sliding along the map, you know, and it's cool, but it's like in Dragon Ball, it's like somehow they manage to have hundreds of episodes and so much different stuff in like every episode, you know what I mean? And like continually challenge themselves to produce new compelling animations that like push the limits of the show and things they've done before, and it's just super impressive like when you really break it down. And I think that there must have been a lot of pressure on the animators to always be doing something new, either a lot of pressure on them, or they were just really encouraged to have a lot of artistic freedom to, you know, try new things. Now with Dragon Ball Z, the schedule was not like, the deadlines were not the same as Super. Like they had much more time to work on episodes, and I think that's part of the reason that you see Super is like fell accustomed to this
system.
Well, it's like, you know how many scenes in Super it's like they're just punching at the screen, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like the cycle of them just swinging at the screen, and that's
it's
like
almost like filler.
It's just like it's not a dynamic animation, because like they do it with every single character, and every time two characters go into combat, you just see them like punching at the screen, and it's like
ha 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 ha, bang 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 bang, clash clash.
It would be like side scrolling into a close up, and they're punching at the screen, into side scrolling, then maybe like an overhead shot, and that was like, you know, the majority of the fight. Whereas DBZ like was not repetitive in that sense, that as the fights progress, especially with, you know, Goku versus Frieza, Goku versus Perfect Cell, and Gohan versus Perfect Cell, actually like pretty much all of the Cell fights, it was like every fight was just so vastly different. And then you get to Super, and it's like a lot of the fights, it's just a lot of the same. But I think a lot of that probably was just being rushed because their deadlines were so short.
Yeah, and it's also like it's riskier. Like when you don't have as much time, you're like, all right, let's try something out. You know, let's try and experiment for this. Versus, you know, your supervisor goes, okay, well, we actually have like 3 weeks less than like you'd probably need for that, and so if it goes wrong or we need to do corrections or something like that, it's a lot safer and a lot easier just to do, you know, the more simple stuff, because, you know, it's something I've definitely learned, and it sounds bad, but if you were to ask other people in the industry, they would agree. It's easier to like, if you try to do something experimental and it goes bad, it goes to crap like that. It's bad. Like, okay, the pain fight with Naruto, someone was trying to show off, someone was trying to be unique with that. It didn't go well, right? Like it became a meme. Everyone
it became a meme, but I mean, yeah, his face did look goofy as hell. I understood what they were trying to do, and I think a lot of aspects of that fight were actually really incredible. When he's like sliding on the water or the rocks or whatever, and when he's getting slammed into the ground. I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff in there, but I think it became a meme more because people don't understand smears.
Animation.
Yeah, they don't understand animation, so they're like, what is this? This looks like crap, you know? Well, like the Naruto versus Sasuke fight, the first time they fought in the Valley of the End or whatever, they did some of that too. With Sasuke's and Naruto's face, they memed it because it looked like a fish or something. Yeah. But I mean, of course, if you're gonna take any in between frame and zoom in, of course, you know, it can look like crap.
It'll look weird.
I mean, people who do that are just assholes and ignorant, really. I mean, people do that to Anime War. They do it to anime and Dragon Ball Super. Every anime. I mean, it's really easy to just pick on in between frame and judge the art, and that, I mean, that really just comes from ignorance, honestly. But I like when they try things like interesting, new, silly things like that. I mean, and it's
interesting.
It's interesting, and for the audience who's listening, the reason why they do those things and smear the bodies and make them look like that is to emphasize movement and power and fluidity, pretty much.
And like the emotion of the scene as well. Like with pains, like my pain is far greater than yours. Like, hey, let's make him lose his composure and all the structure in his face.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it works, and what people fail to understand is that if you drew the characters very high detailed art in those kinds of scenes,
you lose a lot.
You lose a lot. Like, you lose the emotion and the power behind the punches and the attacks, and as they're flying through the air, you lose like the speed, because what happens is it gets very clunky, and it's not going to look like the bending of and exaggeration of characters' limbs and features during action scenes is what helps smooth out the animation during those scenes and actually makes it like interesting and enjoyable. And it can be very stiff if you don't do that. So those smears are actually like really important. To make your characters loose and smeared is important. Now, they may have done it overkill in Naruto, but I mean,
they took a risk. They took a risk.
I thought it was okay.
I think, like, when I watched it, there was a lot of scenes that I especially liked. I liked the stuff with the QB, you know, with the fox. It worked well for the fox, right? Because like his model, you know, he's a monster, he's a beast kind of thing. But when you have Pain, who's the entire series has kind of been like, you know, stale faced and like deadpan and.
Yeah, that's true.
And now he's like Rubber Jaw McGee. They were kind of. It's like, okay, all right. Whoa, what's going on? Like it was abrupt. It was shocking to viewers. So that was where it was kind of like. I may go ahead to say that it was a bit of a bad choice. Like if they toned it down, or if they had eased into it a little bit, or like kept it more for in betweens, because. That one where he goes to punch the ground. Yeah. I think even I can't forgive that one, because like just some of the drawing on the frames. Like I've done smears. Everyone in the studios I've worked in, you know, like we know smears, but when like 8 frames in consecutive order just look like the dude nutted like 100 times at once. You gotta ask yourself who greenlighted that.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was like, what's going through the supervisor's head as he's like looking at this?
Does he look at it and he goes, "This is good, very good. Look, put it out." Yeah, like no.
He just looks at it. He's just like, well,
just do it. Just do it.
I could get fired over this, but let's try it. But here's the thing, though. I mean, and here's something that people gotta understand about anime is they gotta try different things. I mean, look at because like so much has been done before, and even just like in anime topics in general, like, you know, I played this game Real Fake Anime with my wife, and like there's just so many weird anime. It's like they try so hard to do something new and original, because like everything's been done before. I mean, it's a real challenge like for the industry, because I mean so one of the anime is like about poop fairies who have like bad luck, and like one of the poop fairies has like some superpower of like good luck, and he's like just trying to spread good luck to his other poop fairies or something. It's just like, what? Who is coming up with this stuff? But I mean, you got to understand that they're under a lot of pressure to you know, be original and do these interesting things and get people talking. I mean, meme or not, it got people talking about the show, and Naruto's, you know, one of the most highly successful anime of all time. So, I mean, you can hate on it all you want, but I don't honestly. I didn't
something right.
It was a little strange, but at the same time, I don't think it was really like bad animation. I think they were just, you know, they just crossed the borderline a little bit too much with the exaggeration.
Yeah.
You know?
And like they can do it right. Like I don't think, you know, there was a few jokes and meme faces, like you say, in the first Naruto versus Sasuke fight. You get some guppy fishes and the movement, but it was subtle enough where no one went like, God, this is bad animation. Like everyone is like, holy crap, that's awesome. Lol, hold on, let me pause that real quick. Yeah, look at his face. Okay, we'll keep watching. But with Pain versus Naruto, it's like, what the hell happened to his face? What the heck? Like, like. It's extreme, like it, and you know what? Like they had to. The animator accepted that risk, you know, and you know, some people like it, some people don't. And when you do something like that, and that's when you venture out and you do something that's not commonly done, like with new anime, you know, and shows, you know, like you're saying, poop fairies. Now, if I were to make one about a superhero, right? Probably, you know, no one's going to be like, what a stupid idea. Maybe someone will be like, cliche, or I've seen this 100 times, but it's a lot safer than going out into the areas that not many people explore, or the path that people don't really walk on, you know. But those can be the most beneficial, but they are risky.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason that they don't do much shading on Naruto is so that they were able to do those sorts of things. Like, I really like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I see. I really want to do Demon Rush like that, like low shading, so that we can do a lot of really interesting things with the animation. Although people,
you know, my stuff is shadeless, you know, for the most part. We just do gradient shading. We save so much time by doing that.
Yeah, the ambient lighting, the ambient shading is, I don't know, it's difficult, but I think it does add quite a bit of quality and charm. I mean, especially when you look at stuff like JoJo, you know, it's just like mind-blowing shading and everything like that. But the work, you know, it increases the work like tremendously. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Naruto was able to get away with like the like one shade or just no shading, like super minimalistic shading. They were able to get away with it, and the art still looked good. This is something I talked about actually in previous podcasts, is that it's pretty surprising to me that they were able to make an anime look that good with just like no shading in most of the scenes. But they pulled it off, and I think that's just smart character design, honestly. Like, you know,
yeah, that's the big thing, because and I'm sure you saw, I think I talked to you when I was chatting with you the other day, for the new Dragon Ball movie, the animation friendly Goku redesign, and animators see that and they're like, yes, they won't
finally
take me 500 years to do every frame, thank you. You know, because like it is hard on animators, and that's the hard thing. And there's a lot of like really nasty comments towards it, and you know, we face palm when we see that, because they're like, God, the animation is so bad now. And it's like, well, you guys understand that art and animation are different things. You know, the level of shading and how nice the art look, that has nothing to do with the quality of animation. They're like, yes, it does. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's, you know, I'm actually gonna do a video. I just came up with the idea today, called "Animation is Tragically Misunderstood," and that's that. It's like an art form, you know, like people look at art, like a single picture on DeviantArt, and they're like, wow, it's beautiful, it's amazing, you know, good job.
Yeah.
But then they don't realize that like animation is like hundreds, if not thousands of pictures, you know, put together. And that's only like a piece of what the overall video is. You know, there's so many different moving parts and elements that go into it. And it's just like it's one of the most like complicated, it takes some of the most unbelievable amount of patience and dedication and skill to pull off animation over just simply just doing art, you know. And it's so underappreciated by people who don't know how it's done. And it really comes down to like a lack of education in the community. And then part of that, I've tried to, I've tried, man, to explain it to people throughout my YouTube career. And it doesn't matter because the people who are willing to listen aren't ignorant. Obviously, they're going to listen, they're going to learn, and they're going to gain a newfound appreciation for it. But it's the people.
You're not the ones judging in the first place.
Exactly,
anyway.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that it's the people who aren't listening to those videos are the ones that keep judging it, and the people who zoom in on in between frames and make a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's ignorance. It's an unwillingness to learn and appreciate an art form that requires just unbelievable amounts of dedication and skill. And it sucks, man. It's so like it's almost like makes me not want to be an animator. The thing I love about animation is that it's like so rare, and I think because people don't have the patience to do it, or they don't have the willingness to fail and improve, and because
it brings out a certain type of person, and so everyone in the field, they have to have some sort of quality. They have to be hardworking and patient, and like really, they have to give a crap. And that's the thing. Like you can go into Hollywood, go into other YouTube channels and stuff like that. Not all of them give a crap. In fact, a lot of them don't, and a lot of people can get very far doing something without high effort or without high passion or a determined will and a nose to the grindstone. But with animators, to get anywhere, unless and even with the people that pull like what I call the Domix or Jaden method,
animatics,
the animatics, and it's like, what, like I wouldn't necessarily call them like animators, but like they are, but what they're doing is they have a passion for it, but they, I mean, it's a different subject, but the people who actually do animator channels, like almost all of them, I'm just proud of them, because like I know how much work it takes, how much work it takes, and if they've been doing it for a couple of years, then like this person is just insanely dedicated. Because and even when you get good, like a lot of people assume, oh, I can draw Ichigo with my eyes closed. No, I still have to think really hard. I still gotta, like it doesn't stop being hard,
challenging. Yeah. But this is the thing that I think gets on my nerves the most, is that animation is like one of, as I was saying before, requires so much skill and dedication and passion, but it is criticized like more than anything else. And that's what drives me ballistic, is that like these people, like anybody who posts an animation to YouTube, like 90% of the comments are criticism. And it's like these people have like I can't say they have no right, because it's the internet and people will talk, but it's just so much ignorant. It's like irritating, because it's like I
think that's the anime community in general. Like they're extremely judgmental and like
maybe.
What's the word? Not prestigious. I might call it prestigious. Like everyone's like, that anime's trash. Blah 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 blah. The writing isn't perfect. That show sucks.
Everybody's a critic,
it's so
man.
Harsh.
Everybody is a critic, and it's like this needs to stop. Like, you're not a critic. You don't even know what goes into animation. Like, you never even tried to make one video yourself. You're not a critic. Like, you don't know what happens behind the scenes. You don't know how hard these people will work to pump out a video for you, and just stop criticizing. I mean, it makes you look bad. It's breaking down the people who are killing themselves to make these videos, and it's just making the community toxic as hell for no reason. I mean, you can easily provide constructive criticism without being an asshole, but the problem is that all these people criticize in like the improper way, which is actually another video I'm going to do. I'm going to make it part animation. It's going to be animatic. It's going to be called how to properly criticize, because like people just don't know how to criticize correctly, and it's sad, because it's like
you could get the point across a lot better, and also like you could kind of Like when you just start going off and saying stuff like, yeah, this looks like crap.
Exactly.
Then it's like, all right, well, your word is worth a lot less now. And I think what would really solve the problem, and especially with these people that don't know, and I don't know, maybe they got to swallow their internet critique Rotten Tomato pride. I don't care. Just ask questions. Like, ask things in the form of a question. Like, if I go on your video and I'm like, and say, they see something like, or like with the Naruto versus Pain video, a lot of people are like, I can't believe how bad this looks. What bad animators. They should be ashamed of themselves. If you go on that video and you ask it like this, you go, I'm kind of confused. Like, Pain looks really strange on that. Why did they animate it this way? Someone explain.
Yes.
Nothing is wrong with that. And that's a perfectly genuine question, and you don't look like an ass at all for that.
I 1,000% agree. Or another method is you start with a positive and then you say your criticism.
Yes.
So you say like, wow, this episode was so like well animated. There were so many frames, it blew my mind. But Pain looked a little weird in that one scene. Like
say in my opinion also, like, you can just, like, you don't need to shove your what I think is God and law down everyone's throat. Like, that's just YouTube though.
Because as animators and as artists and as creators, like, we read comments, we do learn from those things. I've learned a lot from comments, but and some people say, oh, you can't accept criticism. It's not that. It's just that you don't know how to properly criticize, and that's why I'm not listening to you. I mean, like, personally for me, like, I do read the comments you do want to get criticism from people who are unknowledgeable about the industry. It's like, because it is important, because I think for most animators, they want to hear from other animators, but at the same time, it's like, if you have one of these
audience perspective,
exactly. Like, if you have like an Iron Chef, they have, one of the judges is someone with like no cooking experience, because they want that audience,
that fresh perspective,
right? That like inexperienced kind of perspective, because that actually represents the mass, and that is what's important, But I mean, this is a skill and it's a craft that requires years and years and years of work. So like, if you're going to get criticism as an animator artist, you probably want to hear it from other people who have experience in that industry. I mean, that's what you're going to listen to more than anything else. But I mean, that doesn't mean I ignore comments. Like, obviously listen to it, but I wish that people could just stop being so ignorant all the time, man. It's it's sad, dude, because I have so much respect for animators, dude. Because I've done it, I know what goes into it. I know the late nights. I know, like, what you tweeted. You tweeted the other day that, like, I feel like, I'm just animating, my life is passing me by. And like, I know exactly what you mean, because like, I'll sit in my chair and animate Anime War for like 2 months and like never even leave the house. And it's like, that's why I don't want to do this shit anymore, man. It's like, I'm going to wake up an old man and it's like, what, you got a few million subscribers on YouTube. Congratulations. Like, it's beautiful in that sense that it's like, people are literally giving their life and their soul into this video for you to watch and like consume in like a matter of minutes. And then for you to just come in and just like criticize and be like, this looks like shit. It just makes you such an asshole. Like, it makes you beyond an asshole. You know what I mean?
And they don't even understand, I guess, it's because they don't understand. Like, this person literally, I've had to animate for years now, and I had to give up 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day sometimes. I've had to draw my entire life. Like, the amount of lifetime and focus and time that I've sacrificed just to be able to put the quality that I put out for these videos, and someone comes in and, like, even sometimes, like, people don't even understand. Like, I told you, we do shadeless, we do gradient shading for a lot of our scenes, especially the darker ones. Somebody comes in, they go, Rich Ryno, I think you could improve your look if you actually added some shading. It would look a lot better, and it wouldn't look bad because it looks bad. And it's like, it almost feels like they don't consider, hey,
maybe he thought of that.
Yeah, maybe he thought of that, and he took that. I mean, he's kind of a professional in this, or these people do this for a living. I don't. And it's like when people go, like if someone like a celebrity or something vents about the problem they're having, and then everyone's like, "Did you try doing this?" Oh, yeah. I wish I thought of that, because if one person could come up with that instantly, there's no way I spent a bunch of time thinking. Like, I get that. Like, the thing is, they mean well, right?
Yeah. But well, some of them.
some of them. Anyone who goes on, or this looks like trash, or some people hate fan animations just in general. Like, they just hate the fact that you're doing fan animations. Like, this is not the series. This is not the real thing. It's not as good as it. Therefore, I hate it. I hate that somebody is trying to add. Someone is a huge fan of the series and they love drawing it. That makes me mad for some reason. I am a misunderstood troll. Like, I don't get that. Because I have seen people get so mad because they'll join in, or they'll click on my video and then they'll post a comment. Why do they all do it? They go, "I really hope this isn't fake," and then like 2 minutes later, there's a comment, "It's fake." God damn it!
Dude, I get that comment, "This is fake," all the time.
Really? Thank you.
Oh my god. For the Dragon Ball, the movie fan film I did, like, it says fan film in all caps in the title. In the very first second, there's a disclaimer. In the description, it says it twice. And like literally, like within the first like few hours of posting it, there's already like 10 comments, "This is fake." It just, I don't know if it's foreigners or
Who are you helping?
I don't know, man. I was like, God, if it's this bad already, I can't even imagine once the actual movie comes out. I mean, I bet if you...
Is this a pigeon?
Yeah, man. It's animation it's just... See, I like that you're working in a studio and, you're setting yourself up for like a career, in the future. And yeah. I think a lot of us, I think just about any fan of anime is really passionate about like doing their own show one day. It just kind of comes with the territory. I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people get really mad and the criticism is so heavy, is that you're doing it and they wish they could. And maybe they're mad at that they never took the time to try. Maybe they tried for 10 minutes and were like, "This program looks too daunting, I can't draw," or something, and just gave up. And then they're just mad at you that you actually had the patience and dedication to power through and learn it and take all the criticism in the beginning when your animations look like dog crap and keep going forward. And now you're getting praise and they hate that,
or people who believe in talent as some God-given gift. Like, they think I wasn't once bad at drawing. Like, I was. And like, it's just, you have to draw so amount of, it's just, the people who get good are not people with talent or the people with whatever. It's the people who don't give up and they keep going, even if their stuff looks like crap. They don't stop to think, "Oh my God, this looks bad, I will stop." No, they go, "This looks not good enough, I will keep going and I will try harder." Like, it's all about attitude.
It's like that with any craft, I think.
It is, easily.
I mean, I get criticized, all the time, and people say, you can't draw, like, you can't animate. It's like these people don't know that I sit in front of my tablet 8 hours a day just practicing, like, especially lately, was like trying to work on Demon Rush. It's like they don't know that I'm sitting here just practicing like every single day and trying to improve. And I can see myself improving. I mean, I'm not at the state where I want to be yet. But I mean, I've only been, really drawing for like 2-3 years, and a lot of these guys, and I've only really been studying, like, and reading books and things like that for like 1 year. I mean, a lot of these Japanese artists, man, they've been doing this shit for 20-30 years. Like, of course it looks godly, and a lot of the audience is like, they're so judgmental because you're not as good as the Japanese masters of the industry, like the best in the world.
They're also unhealthy. Like, I the one thing I really want to point out is I respect them, and I'm not going to try and say that they shouldn't do what they do, but the standard that they set is not fair to compare people to, because the Japanese work an unhealthy amount. Like, it's respectable.
They literally die animating, dude. People literally die.
And they're like, "Why don't you, they can do that and you don't do that?" And it's like, do you not understand that they literally, and a lot of the people and a lot of the guys that I work with, right, some of them don't even go outside their house more than 2 times a month. Like, think about that. Think about what that quality of life is. Like, anyone watching the video, like, when do you hang with your friends? When do you go out to the store? When you go, like, do all that stuff? That doesn't exist for them because they're trying to get good at animating. And also because, like, you have to become obsessive, you know, if you want to get, you know, to that level. You need to just throw everything into it. And so it's like I said in my tweet, you know, balance is such a hard thing to find as an animator, because, you know, you can be really, because like for me, like I'm somewhat content, like I'm pretty good, but I know a lot of people who are better, and I would really love to get there, but I also know what I'd have to sacrifice to do that. And, you know, it's a scary thing because, you know, I once was closer to living like that, where I literally did only animation, and right now I've got a few things in my life, like sometimes I'll exercise with my friend, or I'll go out and have a bite to eat with them, or I go for walks every morning, you know, like that would involve me cutting that out. And, you know, that's not good, you know, because then like life will be passing me by.
Yeah, so. It's such a like a juggling act, because with animation is like so different than like so many other things, in the sense that it's like every minute that you can spend, what I'm trying to say is that like your time becomes so valuable, because whenever you're going out, it's like you could be producing. Whereas, like, if you're just doing videos...
Yes! Oh, I'm so obsessive about that.
Because if you're just doing videos on your channel, it's like, I spend 3-4 hours, I make a video, I publish it. The rest of the day is pretty much mine. You know, I might have to do some social media stuff, but the rest of the day is pretty much mine. Whereas animating, it's like, okay, I work for 4 or 5 hours today, but I could work 10 more hours and really progress, you know, the animation a little bit more, or I can like go out tonight and you know, enjoy myself. But if I do that, I'm going to fall really behind. And it's like every hour is so critical when you're animating.
Do you also find, like, if you were to spend a day not drawing or working at all, right? And then when you were to try and get back into it, like the day after, it's so much harder.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get rusty so fast. It's annoying. Like,
yeah, it's true. I
hate that.
I tunnel vision. Like when I start working on an anime or episode, like once I build like a couple scenes, like that's it for me. I just can't do anything else, dude. Like I get so hooked on it that I just like I can't break away and do other things. Somehow I was able to work on Anime War and do a Dragon Ball video a day for like 2 years, but it was brutal, man. I was sleeping 3 hours a night, if sleeping. I mean, I would stay up for 3 days straight all the time, especially near the end of the episode, like when I'm getting ready to release it and stuff. It's really unhealthy, man. I gained a lot of weight. I definitely aged myself. Like I feel like I aged myself like 10 years in like 3 years. No joke, man. I mean, I
know what you're talking.
I destroyed my body to get here, and now I'm like, the last few weeks anyway, I've been spending time with family. I've been going to the gym, and you know, for a long time people were like, oh, why don't you just, you know, when I would talk to my friends about like the damage it was doing to me physically, and they're like, well, why don't you just, you know, just animate on the like just do it on the side, do a few hours a day. I'm like,
no, that doesn't work,
dude. 1,000 hours to make an animation, like if you did a few hours a day, it would take you like 5 years to make like an Anime War episode. Like the only way to get it done is if you're just plant yourself in your chair and just work nonstop.
That's the other big thing about the community, because they're really the only people that can change that for animators. Because like if you, like for me, especially at the start, and during, I told you about the December thing, like your Anime War episode, the time where I really pushed myself was my December Byakuya versus Asnot video. I would literally wake up, I would only stop to eat and sleep, and I would like, you animate, you know, 18 hours, and I got the video done in 30 days, and you know, near the end I started getting a little bit of help. But when people support animators, right, because like I agree that people should support whoever they want, and they should support whatever content creators. But when you help out an animator, it really will add to their quality and their speed, because they can pay for help. And that, like, you know, say if you had 50 people helping you, you know, Jake, that's gonna speed it up so much that you could animate somewhat on the side, because you have so many people helping you. There's so much less for you to do alone, and
Yeah,
then
but
when you
who
get
can
to
afford to pay
more,
50 people? You know what I mean?
exactly. But like when you get to the point where, and that's why it's a little bit better and like in Japan, it's still like they have full studios, but everyone works at that rate, which is so sad. But
Well, it's
um,
just it's the cost of 2D animation, man. It's just so
yeah,
labor intensive, and there's no way around it. I mean, I like I don't think computers can. I mean, it's an art form, computers
yeah,
can't generate that. Like, maybe if you built it in 3D and then said you somehow animate this into 2D, maybe they come up with some kind of technology, but that's still going to require the labor of building the scene and the movements in 3D. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, it's just what it takes, man. It's unfortunate. That's one of the things that it's like kind of gets me about like having a career in animation. I'm like, do I really want to go down this path, man? Because it is a long, dark road, a solitary road of insane amounts of work, and for little pay. And it's like, is this really what you want to do? And that's why I take my shortcuts for Anime War and my animations that I do, or my videos, whatever. When people say, don't call it your animations.
That was also how you and I kind of connected as well, because like after breaking myself down from that, I truly understood the full extent of the pain of being an animator. And I look at what other people do and kind of stuff, and sometimes I would judge like Domix or Jaden for like, well, like not them specifically, but like those type of channels, and I'm like, they're not animators, like God, I work hard, they don't. But then you go through that and you break yourself, mentally and emotionally and physically, and you go, I don't blame anyone for not wanting to do this is hell. Like,
Well, I think they're actually, a lot of these people who draw is like super cartoony stuff. They're actually very, very talented artists.
yeah,
Like,
they are.
when they draw, like when they really try, and they're not just. I mean, these guys are just doing this to satisfy YouTube's algorithm.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, and I think I'm gonna start doing it too, man, because it's like to do anime quality on YouTube is it's stupid. It's honestly like a really dumb choice, because it's so labor intensive and time consuming, and you don't get anything extra out of it. You really don't. I mean, look all these animatics, they're always on the trending page on YouTube and stuff. I mean, us anime guys get shafted so hard in every sense of the word, that the algorithm screws us. We don't, the trending page, YouTube doesn't like push us. And I don't know, our ad rates are probably lower too. I've heard that anime is kind of grouped with like video games, and the CPMs are lower. I don't know if that's 100% true, but
it depends where you're getting your clicks as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting a lot of people in Japan clicking on your stuff, then
I mean, I got to tell my story. I mean, that's why I did an Anime Award, dude. It's just I wanted to tell my story, and I do want to finish it, but at the same time, it's like I also really need to get away from using copyrighted characters, because it's just with YouTube, it's a gamble, man. It's like you want to put all your eggs in Anime War, and then Toei one day, or even like Studio Period or whatever, could be like, well, we don't want you using Naruto, and just take down any Anime War with Naruto. And I mean, they have the right to. I mean, it promotes them. It should cross promote the series and actually help them, but I mean,
it depends what they feel like.
Yeah, it depends what they feel like, and there's always the chance that, and I was talking to Reiji about this, that they could take it they could see it as piracy. Like they could see that your video's 25 minutes long and it's got a picture of Whis on the thumbnail, and be like, oh, this is an episode just uploaded, and just not even look at the video and just block it, which happened to both Reiji and I. I mean, it's a mistake, because people pirate anime so much. If your stuff looks so good that it like could be, but like an intern just like clicks in and is like, oh, this is real, block it. It's like, you really want to spend 1,000 hours and then your video just gets taken down. It's not worth it, But
so talk about, if you want, because we also have like with Demon Rush, because that's your original series, and I'm also planning to, like, obviously I'm helping out on that as well now. What is your big goal with that? Like, what's something that you really want to do with Demon Rush and your story? Because you're a man who definitely cares about telling your story. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as a child of anime, I think I have a really good sense. I know what people want, right, out of shows. I think I just am really in tune with what fans are looking for, and that's part of the reason I've been so successful in terms of villains, rivalries, power-ups, that sort of thing. I know a lot of anime, like, I feel like the pacing is really off. I like, anime like One Punch Man, where you can just like turn on any episode and it's going to be like an exciting episode. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these anime, it's just so many filler episodes of just talking, things that don't progress the story. And what I want out of my show is something that it's like constantly intriguing. I don't want these annoying characters like Red Rocket and stuff, or like Chi-Chi, or just some annoying characters on the sidelines. It's just like, can we get past this and get to the good stuff already? I want to only do good stuff, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Keep it at like the juicy bits that like are fun to animate. Everyone wants to see it, like, because why would you? And that's something I'm a little worried about with my first. I think that the second episode with my stuff will be better than the first, because the first one, the beginning of the arc is a little boring. But why animate something and spend all your time on it if, one, people are going to find it boring or annoying?
Yeah, I never got that. Like, why Naruto would do all these. I mean, they made money. People watch it somehow. But I don't think that talking is bad. I think talking is very good, and story building is extremely good in that sense. But that's what you should be doing with the talking, is building the story, not just filling it with some nonsensical crap that doesn't contribute to the overall, And I think that's a problem that a lot of anime do, and that's the difference that I want to make with Demon Rush, is that anywhere you're watching it, something interesting is going on, whether you're learning something about the story, about the characters, the backgrounds, the history, or there's some amazing action going on. And that's another thing that I want, that I feel that people desire, is they like when the main character is getting a power up, right? Yeah. So when you watch Hajime no Ippo and then you dive into the manga, one of the coolest things about Hajime no Ippo is that he starts out as amateur, and throughout the series he learns like new techniques, and he starts like evolving the techniques, and it makes him like really strong. But then like when you read the manga, he goes like so many like chapters, like he just stops learning, and it like kind of gets boring. Like, you like to see the characters improve. Yeah, it gets stale. It's like you loved it when Goku went upgraded to the next level of Super Saiyan. Like, doesn't necessarily have to transform, or even just like getting a new technique, something that he can use in the next fight, is very, very interesting, and it makes it more dynamic. And what I want to do with Demon Rush is pretty much like every time he defeats a boss, he's going to absorb their soul, and it's going to turn into an additional piece of armor, and that armor will have like the enemy's ability, right, in some form. Awesome. So it's kind of like Mega Man in that sense, and it'll be cool as he goes throughout the series, and he kind of like, uses the abilities like tactile, strategically in the battle in order to get the win. So it's not always going to be like a brute power victory. A lot of times he'll have to kind of like use his abilities in the right order, counter there'd be a lot of like countering. Like, I love like the whole Naruto like playing chess, like, this is my bunshin to your bunshin to my bunshin, and I'm actually really in the ground, and I thought like 10 steps ahead of you. Like, I love that kind of shit. I definitely want to do some stuff like that too. And I love, just big action scenes. I love like it's the one issue I have with Bleach is that like whenever I turn it on and like watch a fight, like I have no idea who the characters are, because there's like so many freaking characters.
So many.
I also don't like in anime when the you build up to this big fight and then the fight ends in like 1 or 2 episodes. Like I think it should be drawn out. I not too long, not like Dragon Ball Z, but when you really draw out like the final boss battle, it makes it that much more epic when the victory is actually achieved. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that DBZ did, but they went too overkill on it. Like, you know, Cell and Frieza took way too long, but at the same time, that's also what made them some of the greatest villains ever, you know? So those are the kinds of things I want to accomplish with Demon Rush. I want it to be like progressive, compelling, good action, good storytelling. Any episode you watch, you're going to learn something or see a cool fight, you know, and that's pretty much what I want to do.
Yeah. And for like, because you're wanting to get away from copyrighted material, and so have you ever, now obviously not to get ahead of yourself, but do you sometimes sit down and like think about what would come after Demon Rush, or you think about more things for Demon Rush? Do you have it fully planned out yet? You know?
No, I don't have it fully planned out yet. I mean, I just want to start with the pilot and see if it kicks, see if there's interest. I mean, it's very, very tough because this is what's going to happen. Like, it's not going to look professional Japanese studio quality. Like, we'll get it as close as fans can make it, but it's just not going to look like real anime. I mean, unless, I don't know. It's really tough to get to that level.
We'll try our best.
We'll try our best, right? Yeah. But this is what happens: is that you get all these like ignorant people that we were talking about earlier, who are completely spoiled with shows like One Punch Man and Hunter x Hunter and, you know, My Hero Academia, which just have this like freaking flawless art, and they're spoiled with that. And then so when they see your stuff, it's like they don't understand this is coming from like a small team, like under 10 people. They just immediately are going to judge it from the perspective of, oh, this doesn't have shit compared to One Punch Man. And I can just see it coming already. But at the same time, we're going to do the best we can. We're going to put it on a Kickstarter. We're going to push it hard. And we're going to see if there's, you know, if we can fund it through Kickstarter, we'll get the money to do episode 2, you know? Mm-hmm. And if you can build like 4 episodes, there's a good chance that you can you know, get a company to back you to make it a full series, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really the goal. And just to have that under my belt. I mean, even if it flops, like, it's still going to be awesome just to be like, I published an episode of my own anime. Like, I made my dream come true, even if it's for 1 episode, you know? And I can always like have that under my belt moving forward as like the capability of what, you know, Mastar and friends can do together. And, you know, the thing is, like, this is our first time working on a big project like this together. And, you know, it's only going to improve as long as we get the ability to keep pushing forward, you know?
I agree. And, you know, it's going to be, do you think, okay, I guess I'll finish it off and ask this. Do you think, even while working on Demon Rush, you'll ever get the temptation, or you'll ever do like a small little fan animation here and there after Anime War is over? Like, because you obviously sometimes, you told me, you know, something will happen in Dragon Ball or something will happen, you go, man, I want to animate that. And so
oh yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about, because I'm like, even if, you know, you start, all of your original stuff starts doing really well, right? Like, I'm sure as a fan, right, because you're an anime fan, like, you know, for a long time, you're going to get these little temptations to, you know, oh, that looked cool, I want to animate that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, like, with the movie. It's like, I just saw a little teaser of it, and I was like, oh, God, I want to animate this so bad, you know? Yeah, I could see it happening, but at this, you know, I'm thinking that like we'll do the Demon Rush thing. We have a movie concept idea as well, which will probably be like the next project after Demon Rush. Yeah. And you know, at some point when we have free time, we'll work on Anime War. So I don't want to say the show is over. I don't want to just make videos, but
yeah, of course.
I can't, like, I just, if I want to have a future, like, I have to shelf it for now. I mean, I just did episode 7 for the fans that wouldn't stop asking me when the next, because like,
obviously, like, you know how much they care for it, and that's why you put all your effort and pushed it even past the point of whether or not it's a good idea for you, right?
Yeah, but I kind of like dug myself into a hole because it's like all they want. It's like they're not being open-minded. It's like they think my channel is just Anime War, and they're like, what is everything else? Like, just stop doing anything else and just do Anime War. Finish the series so I can unsubscribe. You know, I'm like, no, go fuck yourself, man. Like,
harsh.
You know, it's but they say that kind of stuff to you. I mean, that makes me like not even want to work on it as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, I would God, finish this so I can unsubscribe. Fuck, man, that's horrible.
People are assholes online. Just gotta live with it, you know. But I think it's, you know, YouTube, like animations, you can't really make that much money off of either. The cool thing would be is if Demon Rush gets successful, you know, if you're able to license it to like Crunchyroll, you could probably make bank doing that, and then all the merchandise sales, like you would get all the money from that. You know, and you can also
the glory of using your own.
Exactly. If you own intellectual property, and then even if other people are selling merchandise with Demon Rush stuff on it, they have to license it from you and give you a cut. So, I mean, exactly. But I mean, the odds that it becomes highly successful shonen anime is slim to none, and I know that. But it's also never going to happen unless I take a shot at my dream.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good attitude.
Yeah. So. All right, man. We've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. You want to think we went on long enough?
I guess there's one thing very, very important that we've forgotten to say.
Okay.
And that would be check out the Retro Ryno Patreon.
I'll put a link on the top of the description, and at the end screen I'll put your.
Awesome.
I'll put it in the description at the top because I doubt many people are going to get this far.
Yeah. Anyone who did make it this far, good on you. Very proud of you. You're an interesting person. You have good taste.
You're the true MVP.
This video is for you.
Actually, the video with Reiji got like almost 100,000, which is really
Seriously,
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna. You're like Dragon Ball creator, and they're gonna be click, 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 click. And you're gonna be like that Bleach guy, and they're gonna be like dislike, dislike, dislike.
I don't know.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
I think a lot of my guys just like to have something on in the background to listen to while they're working or doing homework or whatever, you know. That's the best part about podcasts. It's just like have something interesting on in the background you don't have to pay it too much attention to. And hey, man, an hour and 16 minutes gonna get that watch time up, baby.
Hell yeah!
Accumulate those watch time minutes. All right, man. Well, I think that's good. It was a great chatting with you. Yet, as always.
I agree. Thank you so much for that, and it's been very fun.
All right, go subscribe to Retro Ryno, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.